Here I am, in the place to be. Mr. K and B, you can't fuck with me. Extra sexy, extraordinary. Palms are hairy, your mama pop.
I'll tell you this. Naturally, when I do record in the car, I do sweat my ass off.
Well, yeah, I know. We've recorded so many times in the car before where we're like, even in the winter, we're in here.
No, we're sweating.
Pop the windows open.
I'm really bad.
Yeah, you are.
That's why I stopped doing the in-car stuff with the camera because, like, I'm tired of, like, when I move my hat around or I try to wipe the sweat. Like, it just looks awkward when you're on camera. It's just... But what up, y'all? KMB the Sexy Ninja.
And I'm Doug.
Welcome to the Sexy NinjaCast. It is fueled. It is powered by CrazyHoodiez.com. All designs created by Big Daddy. Go check out his podcast, Big Daddy Forever. If you're subscribed to the Cplus Studios feed, you get the Sexy NinjaCast, the New World podcast, Big Daddy Forever, also the Social Vent. And you get that Crazy That Juggalo vlog every once in a great while. But here we are. If you want to rock with us on all social media platforms, we are anywhere and everywhere. Literally. The one thing I have not mastered, though, is Snapchat. We're on Snapchat, but it's really hard to master Snapchat.
Yeah. No.
Well, you don't even have a TikTok, huh?
No, I do not.
What's your reason behind that?
I think it's stupid.
I get it. I'm addicted. I get addicted to it.
To be fair, like, the closest thing I ever get to that is I watch, like, have you ever seen, like, YouTube Shorts?
Yeah.
That's pretty much TikTok, just on YouTube.
We're doing pretty well with those. I dropped a Dr. Pepper one the other day, and it's 2.2K
Nice
views. I was like, I don't get algorithms sometimes, but okay.
Yeah. Well, on popular things, this week we have discussed prior what we want to talk about this time. I'm not just dropping it on you like last time. And we are talking about nerd icons that kind of transcend franchises. And now what I ultimately meant by that when we initially started talking about what I'm talking to you guys about in this is actors who not only through one iconic role, but either through multiple iconic roles or multiple, medium level roles just throughout multiple franchises.
Well, when you brought this up, I started thinking about it. Then I was like, Keanu Reeves, Constantine, The Matrix, John Wick, Bill and Ted.
Now, Bill and Ted's its own thing too, though. Like, you think about that, where it's like we're not even copying off of a major franchise, like the same with The Matrix. Is these are things that became iconic with him as the front runner. It's not like Constantine, which was an already established character that he was then portraying. It's Neo.
What would you consider the Coen brothers in that aspect? Because they were like in the 80s, they dominated the 80s, being in movies together. The Coen brothers.
I can't.
Lost Boys. Like Corey Feldman. And
Corey Feldman. Yeah.
The other Corey.
Yeah, kind of. Now it's more or less what I'm bringing up is like large nerd icon. Like
Harrison Ford, Indiana Jones.
Which is funny because I'm sure
Solo.
he would hate the idea of being considered a nerd icon, just given his personality. Blade Runner too.
I hate all you kids.
Kids need to get valuable jobs that pay for things,
so I can go ride my bike across country and fly planes,
crash
into
planes,
barns.
crash
planes.
planes.
Yeah, you're right. Crash. Apologies, or get hurt on set multiple times.
Yeah. No. I mean, he's done all... I mean, between Indiana Jones, Blade Runner, and Star Wars, like, even just with those three in themselves, not counting, his action movie stuff.
The Fugitive.
Clear and Present Danger, Air Force One. Yeah. But one of the ones that came to mind, which is kind of odd, Sam Neill. You've got Jurassic Park. You've got Event Horizon, which is a really big nerd thing. And then you even have him being the actor in Thor, Ragnarok, and Love and Thunder playing Odin. And it's like, wow, you don't really get much nerdier than, like in the same with Matt Damon, you don't get much nerdier than coming in, playing a character.
Yeah, it's like...
Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder.
But doesn't Robert Downey Jr.'s only had the Iron Man thing? Like, what can we consider? Like,
No. Sherlock Holmes too.
And that's why I liked when you brought this conversation to the table, because then I started thinking of everything. And did you know this? I found this out. Constantine has an end credit scene. Did you know that?
I have not seen Constantine in probably 10 years at least. The keyest part of that movie I remember is Shia LaBeouf being thrown up and down against the ceiling a few times.
It's been a long time. The only reason I know is because of TikTok. Someone's like, did you know that there's an end credit scene on Constantine? I was like, what? And they played the scene. I was like, what? You know?
Fair.
But back in the day, that wasn't really a thing. Now, you're obligated to stay till the end credit, except the Batman. We learned that the hard way.
Yeah. Well, that technically did have an end credit thing, but it was dumb. No. And the person that in Constantine, the one that plays, I think it's Gabriel, the person who plays that's actually also the person that does Captain Phasma in Star Wars, I believe, and then they're also in Game of Thrones. So they've done quite a few things, although we can't remember for the life of me their name.
I'm trying to think too. There was another actor we were talking about. Chris Evans, Human Torch, Captain America, the dude from The Losers.
Mm-hmm.
What was the other one?
Push. Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Fantastic Four.
I think that might have been it. Like that.
But that's a huge span.
Yeah. And it depends on what you consider nerd things, because like he was also in Knives Out. I still haven't seen that. No, I still haven't seen that movie. So
it's a Ryan Johnson production, and
well, and then speaking of Ryans, there's Ryan Reynolds, who's another pretty big one. Although granted, like
I just watched 2 the other day, and when he goes back in time, and then he kills himself.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "You're welcome, Canada."
Yeah. Well, and that's Green Lantern, Deadpool. Depending on your views, I know you don't like it, but Free Guy technically is a video game.
Blade.
Yeah, he's in Blade Trinity. I forgot.
Yeah, he's like the nerdy tech,
yeah,
super assassin guy.
Let's see. Oh, there was that one. I haven't seen it yet, but there's that Mark Ruffalo movie. He and Mark Ruffalo where he's a time traveler.
Oh, almost died. The Adam Project. That movie's fantastic. You need to watch that.
But yeah, so there's that.
What about Mark Ruffalo? You see, Hulk.
In the Adam Project.
The Adam Project.
Everything else he's been in, I don't really know if we quantify or qualify as
mostly
nerd
dramatic
culture.
Stuff. Or
yeah, Shutter Island, stuff like that.
Was he in Shutter Island?
Yeah, he was the cop, or he was the psychologist that was working with.
Oh, I haven't seen that movie in so long, and the end of that movie was like the twist was like, oh, he's just crazy, and he's just a.
He's just crazy. He's just crazy. It's not even. Yeah. Let's see, and then one of the other ones I messaged you was like Mark Hamill, another big one. But I would even go as far as to say, at least in current day, he is bigger than Harrison Ford. Like I don't think that's.
I don't know about that.
I think that your own biases block you from seeing that. Where
my own bias about I love Harrison Ford.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Is that you think that Harrison Ford is bigger than Mark Hamill in the current day?
Yeah, he is.
I don't think so.
There's some people out there I can be like, "Yo, Mark Hamill." They'll be like, "Who?"
Yeah, there's people even like Harrison Ford, and they'll be like, "Who?"
Oh, come on, Harrison Ford has a bigger house name because all across the board of all the movies he's done besides Indiana Jones and Star Wars.
If we're talking about that, then you'd be like, "Hey, Ryan Reynolds." Everyone's gonna know who that is.
Yes, that's what I mean. The Rock. Harrison Ford.
Harrison's not in that category anymore.
I feel like he still is.
No, because the only people you're gonna talk to typically about that are gonna be people who.
But there is people out there when you say Harrison Ford, sometimes they don't mention Star Wars. They always mention Indiana Jones.
Yeah, but I would go, okay, but there's people when you talk about Mark Hamill, they talk about all of his other works. Like the Joker is one of the biggest things he's done, and that is one of the bigger icons in nerd culture. I would also go as far as it depends on the age range of people you're asking. If you ask anyone over 30, yeah, they're going to know who Harrison Ford is. If you ask most of the people that work at that college that are the kids, they'll probably be like, I have no idea who that is.
Oh my God. You remember that time I told you someone was wearing a New Hope shirt and I was like, yo, and this is right when Force Awakens was coming out. And I was like, yeah, Mark Hamill's coming back. And she's like, who? I was like, yeah, and Harrison Ford, who? And I was like, why are you wearing that shirt? Yeah. But that's a trend now, I guess.
But no, and that's that's a few big ones from our time though. And and then you look at the modern day, The Rock. The Rock is actually one that
he is all over.
Yeah.
It's not, and what's funny too is I like the fact that he's always The Rock, but it's in like kind of different genres of movies, like the Jungle Cruise movie. Then he goes to the Fast and Furious movies, and then he does the Pets movie where he's super uber strong in that because he's Superman's dog, which I still need to see.
Oh, and then there's
Jumanji,
but like even just going, well, it's funny because The Rock has always been the Rock of the current time, because like you watch Scorpion King and you're like, oh, that is Rock from that time period. That is,
yeah. I every time I watch that movie, I'm like, he's so skinny. Like, you know, like you see him now, how bulked up he is and everything like that. Yes, I live near an airport, everybody.
Well, no, but it's like you know, you've got Black Adam. The funny thing is, he was not a major character. He was only in, I think, like 1 or 2 episodes, but he was actually in Star Trek Voyager.
Holy crap, he was, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, there's somebody. Triple H. Remember when Triple H was in Blade?
Oh gosh, no.
How about John Cena? Can he be on the
He was
table?
never in Blade.
No. Peacemaker. I'm trying to think. The Marine.
So here's where it goes. Is
But
nerd culture.
But nerd culture is an all around thing.
This is why we're not bringing. No. But I'm talking about nerd icon. That's the difference. Nerd culture can encompass
John
everything.
Cena's not a nerd
But
icon.
nerd
He's a wrestling icon, but he's not a nerd icon.
Where you have to be like, you know, a major household, you know, name, like Patrick Stewart, you know, like Patrick Stewart,
Sir Patrick Stewart,
Sir Ian McKellen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have these people that have played these large iconic roles for decades, for most of them, that, you know, they are the ones. They're not just like, oh, they one time played this character.
I think Tom Holland's falling into that too, because I watched that Uncharted movie. You know, that comes from video games.
That was such a dumb casting choice.
Why?
You haven't played the games. That's kind of the point. You're like, oh man, Tom Holland, that's great. And you're like, you never played the games, did you?
Well, originally it was supposed to be Marky Mark. That was supposed to be the Tom Holland role.
And then he was too old.
And they're like, yeah, give it to Tom Holland.
Well, then Angelina Jolie, too.
Oh, yeah.
She did Lara Croft, which is a very big video game icon.
2 of them. She only did 2, huh?
Yeah, she did 2.
And there was a remake.
There was The Cradle of Life, and then there's the remake movie. I don't know who that actress is.
Yeah.
And then you have
Arnold Schwarzenegger. Could he be considered in that?
The thing is, his keyest, I would call, nerd icon
Terminator.
role would be Terminator. Besides that, like, what would you? Because most of his stuff, like, it's the same thing with Stallone. Like, almost all of his stuff was action movie, like, oriented towards not even the sci-fi
But
aspect.
Stallone's a little bit different. He's got Judge Dredd, Demolition Man.
Demolition Man wasn't a comic.
But it's a sci-fi movie.
I know. Well, Dredd was at least a comic book character.
Yeah. So
which then we have Carl Urban too.
Oh, Carl Urban's been all over.
He was Bones in Star Trek. Like he might actually be one of the closer ones because he was Bones in Star Trek.
He's in The
He
Boys.
was Dredd. He was I can't remember his character's name in The Boys, but
he was in Thor.
Yes, he was in Thor as Scourge.
Was he in Lord of the Rings?
He was in Lord of the Rings as the leader of the Rohirrim.
Yeah.
So like, let's just talk like nerd franchises. We've got the MCU, we've got Star Wars, we've got Lord of the Rings,
Harry Potter.
He wasn't in Harry Potter.
Oh no!
I was
just trying to
talking
name
about things
out.
he was in. I'm talking about things he was in.
He was in Harry Potter. We just didn't know it.
Dude, if he's in the next Fantastic Beast movie or something.
Warwick Davis.
Oh yeah, no. See, I think the thing that cripples Warwick Davis in this conversation.
Whoa.
Is what? He is not crippled. He is a little person. There's nothing wrong with him in that regard. But in this conversation is the fact that he doesn't get enough star shined upon him. Because I think because he was in Return of the Jedi, like he was in the old Star Wars, he's in the new Star Wars, he's in Harry Potter multiple times as multiple characters. I don't believe he was ever in Lord of the Rings.
No, I remember when I
but he was in Willow.
When the Rise of Skywalker, I always forget that he's in there at the end as Wicket with his actual son in the other Ewok costume. And I was thinking to myself, I'm wondering when the Ewoks look up, they're like, again? What's going on here?
Well, no, I was gonna say James Earl Jones, but he's really only
Lion King,
which that's hard.
Star Wars.
Lion King, Star Wars, Coming to America, like those are kind of the
those really
bigger
ain't
ones.
nerd franchises, but
Yeah,
he
well,
is,
except for Star Wars.
Except for Star Wars. I'm trying to think of other actors. Like, I was trying to put a list together before you came, and now that whole list just went outside my head. Just went.
Yeah, no, I didn't. You're recording on your phone, but I was originally gonna be
Jeff
like,
Goldblum.
He was another one I was going to bring up. But I was going to say that we don't get to use our phone during this conversation. It's just off of what we know. But yeah, no, Goldblum was actually one that I was looking at because this is not a nerd. Well, this is a nerd thing in its own right.
Colin Farrell.
Yeah. But with Goldblum, he's actually in my favorite Western of all time, Silverado. And then I just look at all of his other stuff. And it's funny because I was thinking about it. And this is another person that's going to come up as sort of a nerd icon, but not really that much. Will Smith. The movies that Jeff Goldblum has done and Will Smith have done, the thing about them are they're like every genre.
But they've only been in Independence Day together, though. Were they in other movies?
No. I'm talking about their filmography, though. Not together. But like you look at both of their filmographies. Like, they do sci-fi movies. At least Jeff Goldblum's done westerns. They've both done a sports movie, action movies, like dramas. They just like spread the entire thing. Where you get a lot of actors that are like this is the type of movie they do. But yeah, no. And it's Will Smith, like
Hugo Weaving.
Oh yeah, no, Hugo Weaving. Hugo Weaving is probably the most iconic villains of nerd icon. Like, not that you would call
Mr. Anderson.
Yes, not that you would call V a villain, but you've got Megatron, you've got Agent Smith, you've got Red Skull. He should just play a villain in Star Trek at some point. Like, that's just the only one he's missing.
You never know that they're doing another Star Trek movie. Idris Elba? Can Idris Elba follow this?
Oh, yeah, most certainly. See, the thing that Idris Elba does that's a little more on top of it, too, is like Knuckles the Echidna. Then you've got Hobbs and Shaw, where he plays the nerdiest badass villain.
Black Superman.
He is Black Superman. Then you
Star
have
Trek. Beyond.
Oh yeah, he plays the main villain in Beyond, and then he's Heimdall in Thor.
And he had a kid, apparently.
Yeah, jeez. Don't even get me started on that part again.
How about Hemsworth? Thor, Star Trek. Well, not all Star Trek, but he was the father of Captain Giant State.
He was in there for a solid 5 minutes, yeah.
Yeah. So.
And Ghostbusters. See, that's the reason that we don't bring up Hemsworth, is because if you bring up Hemsworth in nerd culture, you have to talk about
But he was
that.
the best part about that Ghostbusters movie.
I'm just saying.
Did you watch that Ghostbusters movie? Oh. Why are you talking?
Because I have seen enough things about it that, like... Remember that conversation we had a long time ago about I don't waste my time on a lot of stuff, and I don't try to talk ill about things I haven't seen.
Oh, wait, real quick. Sorry, just thought of it with Ryan Reynolds. R.I.P.D.
Oh, yeah, right. Mm-hmm. Which was with Jeff Bridges,
Jeff Bridges,
yeah, is another
Iron Man.
One. Yeah, Iron Man. That actually might be it, besides R.I.P.D. Jeff Bridges did a lot more...
I've never seen that movie.
R.I.P.D.?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you?
I think I did. I saw it a long time ago, like when it came out. I don't think I saw it since then.
I thought the concept was cool. Like, you know, it's
I think it's based off of a comic book.
No, it is based off a comic book. But I heard it's like one of the worst movies ever. But that, when people make those kind of lists, I 90% I don't agree with most of the movies they put on there. Because I'm like, there's more terrible movies out there than these kind of movies.
I mean, we had that conversation about what Rotten Tomatoes scores The Last Jedi as.
Oh, so, yeah, bring that up real quick.
Yeah, so I was going through the movies on my Vudu, and I was looking at the ratings of all the Star Wars movies. Like, I was like, oh man, I wonder what the worst rated Star Wars movie is. And now, granted, this has none of the Star Wars stories. It's just of the Skywalker saga. And the worst one listed is The Phantom Menace, which part of me goes, I guess I can kind of understand that, just given how much backlash it got initially.
But this was before Rotten Tomatoes, so
yeah.
That's why I'm wondering if they're just compiling all review, because that's what Rotten Tomatoes is.
Well,
like
Rotten
all
Tomatoes
reviews?
is technically not Rotten Tomatoes itself, but the scoring thing they use for Rotten Tomatoes has technically existed prior to Rotten Tomatoes. Like Space Jam technically has a Rotten Tomato score from 1994. Even though Rotten Tomato didn't exist as what it is today, the scoring concept is just based off of what people rated it at the time. So, technically speaking, that 55 is feasible, but I think that's more, the Phantom Menace is more, people have now been trained to hate that movie. People are like, oh my gosh, there's nothing redeeming about it. And you're like, no, there is. Watch the goddamn movie. No, it's a 55. But then you go to all the new Star Wars ones, and The Last Jedi gets a 91, or was it a 90? Something like that.
I know. What did I text you?
You're like, I do not agree with this.
No, I did not say that. I think I said something more graphic about Rian Johnson.
Yeah. But no, then
yeah, because when you told me that, I was like, what the fuck?
well, but the funny thing is, like, it's in the 90s. Return of the Jedi is in the 80s.
What was Return of the Jedi's?
88, I think, 85, something like that. Like, the highest rated one was The Empire Strikes Back at like 90, 94, 95.
Should be like 100.
Yeah, and then you get well, it's funny because on my list there was actually 2 100s. Not Star Wars, but on my entire list of Rotten Tomatoes there were 2 100s, and I have actually not watched those movies yet. It was the Batman, The Long Halloween Part 1 and Part 2.
Those are good.
They both had 100s on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm like, I don't think there's enough scores on that one to give an accurate score then.
Well, they are coming out with the deluxe version of that. Oh, Michael Keaton. Can Michael Keaton? Well, thing. I just thought about...
We have the Vulture. We have Batman. Birdman, kind of. That one's more of a drama.
Yeah, no, that's... Like, when you think... Yeah, I would say Carl Urban probably would take the gold here because...
So far, I'm sure we could...
Well, Sir Patrick Stewart, too, but...
Well, his are just... He has played bigger roles. Like, you know, because that's just him. Like, Sir Patrick Stewart is such an amazing actor that, like, whatever he goes into... that's my favorite Christmas Carol movie, is the Patrick Stewart one. And most people don't even know about that one, because it was originally a TNT straight-to-TV movie. But I freaking love that movie.
I watched the one with Guy Pearce, and they tried to go like uber dark with that, like soup, like it's all raw, and it was like, I go keep Scrooge dark for the most part, but you don't need to make everything Tim Burton, and that's what they were trying to do, like Tim Burton it up.
Well, didn't Tim Burton have one? Like what's the one that has Jim Carrey? Who's in that one? Or who's the director of that one?
I don't think it was Tim Burton.
No, it was a Disney one, though. And
it was an animated movie.
Yeah,
like when they,
it's
Polar
super
Express.
dark.
Yeah, Polar Express and everything like that.
Don't say
Johnny
Tom
Depp.
Hanks. Okay, I was like, don't say Tom Hanks.
No, Johnny Depp. Pirates. Edward Scissorhands.
I have something to help you. He is not in Beetlejuice.
I thought he was.
Michael Keaton on that one.
There we go. Michael Keaton has another one. Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
I automatically gave the role to Johnny Depp. Why can't I? Crybaby, Sweeney Todd. What's other?
Most of those I would not count as typical nerd culture. We're just talking about acting and things. If you want to talk about one, he plays Grindelwald in the second Fantastic Beasts movie. And then we have Mads Mikkelsen too. Who's done a few.
Did you hear about the show with Armie Hammer?
Yes, you sent me the thing with Armie Hammer.
We watched the documentary.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't know if I can watch the Lone Ranger movie anymore now, even though I do like the Lone Ranger movie.
No, Mads Mikkelsen, though. He was in Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
He was in Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Mm-hmm. Now, he was in Doctor Strange. He was in the first one. He was the one that played Caecilius.
And there's a lot of those go-to actors that just kind of spread across.
Well, and you think that's kind of funny that we're actually getting to the era which we taught. Like this is something we've talked about a while before, and I'm sure we'll have a big conversation on at some point. But that we are so mired in nostalgia that we almost refuse to move on to things like that was the whole Jurassic World Dominion thing, where you have these actors that have not been in these movies together in over like 2 decades almost, and over 2 decades now that I say that.
But if we say that, we're called gatekeepers because I barely found out that's a thing.
I think it's dumb though that we refuse to move on as a society from these old things, and that's Anthony Hopkins. That's another one. Another big actor. He did
Thor.
He did the Silence of the Lamb things, which again, not really counting those as.
Well, you could consider that nerd culture because horror nerds are a thing.
Yeah, and then Mask of Zorro.
Oh yeah.
He was the trainer.
He was the dad of Catherine Zeta-Jones' character.
Yeah.
Antonio Banderas. He was Zorro.
Puss in Boots.
Puss in Boots.
He was the father in the Spy Kids movie.
Yeah. Did you know they made another one of those?
Yeah, I never saw it, but
I'm not going to see it, but...
Yeah, the one that doesn't have the original cast people in it.
Yeah.
I guess we could talk about Robert Pattinson, too. He was part of two very big... Twilight and the Batman. Two very big things. Oh, and Harry Potter. He was in Harry Potter, too.
You know, I always forget the Harry Potter role.
He's Cedric Diggory and dies. I always like to joke that that's how he became Edward from... He just
Like
died there.
Went
just
on to another life?
Yeah. Because it's funny, because you get certain people like Daniel Radcliffe that they get that one role, and then after that, like, at least not as far as big cultural things, because he's in other movies, but as far as big cultural things, you don't really see him much in anything.
I'm trying to think of female actors that have crossed over in different genres. And like,
Brie Larson was Captain Marvel, and she was also in Scott Pilgrim. She was in something else that was, I think, pretty nerdy. Huh.
Well, yeah.
You have Kristen Stewart, who was in Twilight. She was in Charlie's Angels. She was in...
Oh, that remake they made. I remember.
Which had Patrick Stewart in it.
Did it? I didn't even see it. I didn't even watch it. I've seen the one with Lucy Liu and
Lucy Liu, Drew Barrymore, and Cameron Diaz.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that one. I love the first one. Not so
Sam
big a fan of the
Rockwell's
second one. Yeah. Well, also Shia LaBeouf.
Oh, there's that one. Sam Rockwell. Charlie's Angels. Let's say Iron Man.
2, yes.
I really hope they bring him back. Hammer.
Well, with what they've done with Emil in freaking what's it called? He could be someone that Jennifer's trying to defend in one of the future episodes.
That's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping too. Trying to think of other actors that have been crossing over in these nerd franchises.
Ben Affleck.
So Ben Affleck. Well, he's not a sir, but
he is most certainly not a sir.
He's a sir to me, damn it.
But no. Not only do you have Batman, and then you also have Daredevil, but then you also have his roles in Dogma,
Armageddon.
Yeah.
Reindeer Games. Well, I'm just going out. I love.
So Reindeer Games, isn't Reindeer Games one of the Tom Clancy ones?
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's Sum of All Fear with him and Morgan Freeman.
Oh.
Where he plays Jack Ryan.
Yeah. Which is funny. How many people have played Jack Ryan at this point in time? Because you have Harrison Ford,
Chris Pine, Ben Affleck.
That dude from the TV show. I can't remember what his name is.
Yeah.
He's the dude that played Aquaman in the original Smallville.
No. That's Jack Reacher. You're thinking of the guy that's playing Jack Reacher now.
Oh.
Yeah, no, Jack Ryan is...
Oh, goodness forbid I mix up Jack Reacher and Jack Ryan.
Have you always noticed, like...
Because there was
JR,
yeah.
like the initials of most, like, badasses, like Jack Reacher, Jack Ryan. I feel like there's another JR out there.
Mm-hmm. But there... what's his name? The one that plays Jim from The Office.
Yeah, that's him.
Well, no, but I'm also saying him because he's also now Mr. Fantastic.
Did you hear they're talking about recasting Mr. Fantastic with somebody else?
That's on them.
Yeah, I was like, you have the perfect choice.
So this is going to bring up another one too. But I saw a thing this morning about people petitioning / like fan art coming out of Margot Robbie playing Mystique in the new X-Men, and I just look at that and go, no. Like, even Jennifer Lawrence was a big jump for me on that one, where Rachel...
she was perfect.
Yeah, she was perfect. I loved her as Mystique. And then you had Jennifer Lawrence, and I'm like, she's only here because she's a big name, and you've made so much more about Mystique than they needed to be, where...
There's another one. There's a female actor.
Well, there were 2 of them. 3 of them, technically, that I brought up.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing you're talking about Jennifer Lawrence?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
X-Men.
Hunger Games.
Yeah. I think I stopped there.
I mean, at that point in time, we can talk about Margot Robbie as
Harley Quinn.
And then Harley Quinn again.
Well, Did you hear we're getting another Harley Quinn?
Cool.
Yeah, Lady Gaga.
Actually, I'm kind of excited about that.
Right?
one,
Right?
To be honest, I was just like, there's not many people that are going to make me care about this anymore. But no, I'm cool
Yeah,
with that one.
the Joaquin Phoenix movie, the second one.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to be a musical. Yeah, right.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it's gonna be him and Gaga.
You know who? You know would be kind of interesting. I can't remember what this actress's name is, but I know we don't enjoy it, but you've watched at least parts of The Big Bang Theory before, right? Mm-hmm. The one that plays Penny, the neighbor.
Yeah.
Do you know who she is?
Kaylee Kapoor. Yeah.
She should play Harley Quinn in the movie. Do you know why?
Because she's the voice.
Because she's the voice of Harley Quinn in the thing.
Yeah.
She's a good actress. She looks the part. Like, why is she not the one getting
I
up
like
for that?
Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn.
I don't like Margot
I
Robbie
love
as Harley
Margot.
Quinn.
You know I love that
I know
Birds of Prey
you
movie
do.
so much.
I know you do, but you know what? If we're talking about female actors in those movies, I liked Katana more than I liked Harley Quinn. I liked Enchantress more than I liked Harley Quinn.
That is rude.
I don't like I don't like Margot Robbie's style of playing.
Wait,
this character.
Barbie. She's gonna be Barbie soon too.
Cool.
Yeah. No, we're talking about nerdy franchises like I think would Barbie be one?
I don't know. It's
To all you fellow nerds out there to collect Barbies.
I mean, to be honest, if we're talking about voice actors, this opens a giant kettle of fish. If we're
Well, I was thinking, what's the dude's name that I can't even think of it, but got to play John Carter. I can't think of his name.
the guy who then later played Gambit, I have no idea.
Yeah, later played Gambit and was in that Battleship movie.
Oh right, he was he got tased for a burrito.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remembered my dad wanted to see that so bad.
Females, Megan Fox. Transformers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We're not going past 2 on most of these people.
No. Well, you know what's weird is I like her April O'Neil in the first one. I don't care for her April in the second one.
I don't think I saw the second one. I saw the first one.
Yeah, then like Stephen Amell's Casey Jones.
Stephen Amell's another one too.
Yeah, Stephen Amell's Casey Jones is like annoying. So it's funny. It's like after doing the rewatch, I text you. I really like the first movie a lot, and that Johnny Knoxville was the voice of Leonardo. And then when you get to the second movie, he's not the voice, and you can tell. I was like Johnny Knoxville, but I was like the only thing I could think of was Jackass and Ninja Turtles.
and Jackass was the thing we used to watch after watching WWE. So, let's see.
I almost said Hulk Hogan.
You know who we've left out? Who's a huge one? Freaking Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh, I would say of all nerds out there, iconic in pretty much everything, and across the board in everything. You know, hell, they didn't really need to de-age him in Captain Marvel, but they did. But he still looked good. Mm-hmm. I would say that was some of the best CG work I did. I was like, and the only man that could pull it off, Samuel L. Jackson.
Which is funny because then you have what's his name who plays Coulson. I can't remember what his name is right now.
Oh, Clark Gregg.
Clark Gregg, yes. You have him de-aged in that one too, and you're like, ooh, not so good, not as good. But yeah, no, Samuel L. Jackson. You have Mace Windu, probably in the top 5 of most known Jedi.
Nick fucking Fury.
Nick Fury, which in the Ultimates, it was literally like, hey, let's draw him as Samuel L. Jackson.
And he is responsible for the purple lightsaber because he asked George, like, "Hey, George, I want a purple lightsaber."
Did you see the concept where the concept art where Leia got a purple lightsaber?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sad that didn't, because Carrie Fisher wanted her character to have that, and then they made that post her death, and they never gave her that. I'm like, I'm sad about that now. I didn't know I wanted that until I saw that we didn't have it.
I didn't know Rey's was like a slight orange. Kind of reminds me of the one from Shadows of the Empire.
I thought orange was typically used by the Jedi guards, Jedi Temple guards.
Yeah, so because when she sparked it, I was like, oh, it's slightly orange, and it kind of reminded me of the cover of Shadows of the Empire with Luke when he had that temporarily.
Mm-hmm. Let's see.
It's like I'm trying to think.
Because it would be easier if we did it by.
I think we did. I think we pretty much covered the board of all these actors. That
we're gonna
across.
miss somebody.
Or I'm gonna go inside, look at my things, and be like, "Damn it, yeah. Kevin Smith."
Kevin Smith is not necessarily as an actor one.
More of a pop icon.
More of what he's done as a director, which you could say the same thing about Jon Favreau too.
Well, he's in Die Hard.
Yeah. Well, I mean, are we going to talk about?
He's in Fanboys. Remember that scene?
Yes.
That's what you should show your kid. That movie, Fanboys.
Let's see. Oh, Liam Neeson. That was actually what sparked this entire conversation in the first place, was Liam Neeson, for me.
Oh, Mr. Liam Neeson.
Because you have him in Star Wars. We have him in Batman Begins / The Dark Knight Rises. There was another thing that he did.
Taken.
But that doesn't really count as what we're talking about here. There's another thing he did that
You know, he's kind of fallen to this weird trend of just being the same character.
Fallen? I think that's how he started.
Yeah, no, that's what's so crazy is like his newest one, Memory. He's basically the guy from Taken, the character from Taken that goes and kills child molesters. So
there was another one he did where he lost his memory. Like he was a spy doing this stuff with a woman. He lost his memory and he thought he was that person.
It sounds like Jason Bourne.
No, whoa, no, not to that level. But no, that's not the movie I'm talking about either. There's another movie that Liam Neeson was in that he was something big. I don't want to pull my phone out because I said I don't want us to have our phones out for this one because it's based off our memories. But like, I'm so annoyed that I can't remember what the heck it is. Screw it, I'll break the rule.
Break the rule.
Because you want to know now too, huh?
Yeah, I do want to know.
Let's see.
I was like, Jack Nicholson, but I was like, no, it was only the Joker. Mel Gibson? Mad Max? Lethal Weapon? Would those be considered?
Mad Max, maybe.
Yeah.
But
Tom Hardy, he was Mad Max. He was Bane.
Venom.
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't Venom, but he was Eddie Brock.
Woody Harrelson. Carnage.
What's his name that I brought up to you before? Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Oh yeah,
we
Watchmen. He's Batman. You know, he's Batman's dad.
Yeah.
What else was he in? Oh, The Losers with Chris Evans.
And Grey's Anatomy.
Oh, what about the A-Team? We forgot about the A-Team.
Oh, Liam Neeson.
Yeah.
It's Liam Neeson in there too.
Yeah.
And then there's also what is his name? The guy who plays Rocket in Guardians.
Oh, Bradley Cooper.
Bradley Cooper. Yeah, he's in the A-Team too.
Man.
But that wasn't the Liam Neeson thing I was thinking of.
Yeah, I don't know why the A-Team just popped in my head automatically. I just saw Mr. T's face. Yeah, that's how this area is.
I know. That's
If there's any names you guys can think of, throw them in the comments below. Let us know what you think. Who do you think is the nerd king?
I think the co-kings, in my opinion, are Jackson and Urban. Like, Urban for just the spread of what he's done. Jackson for the iconic nature of almost everyone that he's done, which Sir Patrick Stewart's in that same conversation too, but he was kind of limited by the number.
I feel Urban just a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because he's willing, like, to just...
Oh, yeah. No, like, if Samuel L. Jackson was in Lord of the Rings, hell yeah, I would give it to him. But it's like, you have this jump between, you know, you've got fantasy, like high fantasy, you have sci-fi, then you even have, like, heavy comic book stuff. Like, not even just the Scourge thing, it's the Dread thing. Like, he played Dread.
And the boys.
But he played Dread, which I think Dread is my favorite out of all of these, because he never took off his goddamn helmet. Because that's Dread. And then you have Stallone's where he's just like, I'm never going to wear this helmet after this opening scene.
Sounds like Thor.
Yeah.
The first one, I was
Yeah.
like, oh, look at that helmet. That helmet looks nice. Never going to see it again.
Yeah. Until we're going to see a completely different helmet in Love and Thunder.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, let us know what you think. Drop those comments below. I almost said Tom Hiddleston. But I was just like, only Loki's the only thing I can think of that he's done.
He's done a lot of other stuff, but nothing really I would count as nerd culture. He was a big icon in it, but
Yeah.
Let's see.
John Boyega?
He's done 2 things.
Attack on the Block. Finn, of course.
Yeah.
Oscar Isaac.
Oh, yeah, no. Oh, man, we can't leave without talking about Oscar Isaac then.
Yeah.
Because we have Apocalypse. We have Poe Dameron. We have which name we want to give him for Moon Knight?
Yeah, so there we go.
Yeah, that's one that we don't want to leave out.
Yeah, but the king, I would say, is Urban.
Yeah.
So let us know what you think. Drop the comments below. Let us who you think is the ultimate epitome.
Epitome?
It says damn gum.
Well, it's your fault for chewing it.
I know. But let us know what you think. Then after that, you're going to like and subscribe. You're going to share it with your grandma. Share it with your grandpa. Share it with the bum down at Walmart. You have anything else to say, good sir?
I'm so annoyed I can't figure out what that Liam Neeson movie is.
As soon as we stop recording, it's going to come to you.
Probably.
All right, y'all. I am KMB the Sexy Ninja.
And I'm Doug.
Welcome to the wicked shit.